You will be surprised to know. Let's go.
Imagine being stranded 1,200 miles from civilization with zero radio contact, watching the ice crush your only shelter. The Endurance, a three-masted wooden ship, was completely locked in a frozen sea. There was no open water to sail and no physical way to break free. Previous polar expeditions trapped in similar conditions usually met a grim end. Men starved, went mad, or turned on each other until no one was left to tell the story. Surviving this combination of deep isolation and lethal cold strips away everything but the raw mechanics of staying alive and the specific decisions required to do it. These 22 men were entirely cut off from the rest of the world, marooned on a floating sheet of unstable ice. They had originally set out to make history by completing the first land crossing of the Antarctic continent. That ambitious goal was now completely dead. Their commander, Ernest Shackleton, recognized the reality immediately. He gathered his crew and stated their new, singular mission, bringing every single man home alive. Defeating the Antarctic winter required more than physical strength. To keep their bodies functioning, Shackleton had to prevent his crew from surrendering to mass despair. That strategy was tested when the ice finally breached the ship's hull, splintering the heavy wooden beams and forcing the crew to abandon their protection. They moved their limited supplies onto the frozen surface, pitching thin canvas tents directly over the unpredictable, violently drifting ocean. Shackleton knew that in this environment, morale doesn't just fade, it rots. Without focus, the strain of the unknown leads directly to friction and a breakdown in authority. He countered this by imposing strict schedules. The crew engaged in exact daily tasks, like weighing the sled dogs and building snow kennels. By forcing them to collaborate on mundane chores, he engineered a sense of normalcy that kept frustrations from boiling over. Days stretched into weeks, and weeks into months, as the ice floes carried the camp aimlessly through the frigid Weddell Sea. By occupying their time with the routine, Shackleton preempted the psychological collapse that would have otherwise fractured the group and left them vulnerable to mutiny. Eventually, the ice they were camping on began to crack and splinter, forcing them to launch the 3 small lifeboats they had salvaged. The men had to manually drag the heavy timber boats across the jagged, frozen terrain, a grueling effort that exhausted their rapidly shrinking bodies. This map illustrates their situation, navigating 1,200 miles of violent ocean to reach a tiny speck of land called South Georgia Island. Every day compounded the danger. Temperatures hovered below freezing, while their caloric intake plummeted against agonizingly slow progress. Launching the lifeboats meant abandoning their passive waiting game. Shackleton shifted their survival from a game of chance to an active, life-or-death physical execution. Miraculously, they survived the ocean and hit the shores of South Georgia, only to face a crushing realization. They had landed on the uninhabited side. Standing between the exhausted crew and the nearest whaling station was a completely uncharted range of jagged peaks and glaciers. The majority of the men were too weak to walk. Rather than risking the entire group on the peaks, Shackleton chose 2 men to accompany him on a forward trek. For 36 straight hours, they forced their exhausted bodies upward, climbing blindly over the massive glaciers and freezing windswept ridges. By personally facing the most dangerous terrain left, Shackleton reinforced his authority through shared risk, placing his own life on the line to save the men left behind. Staggering down from the mountains, the 3 men finally reached the industrial tanks and wooden buildings of the Stromness whaling station. Shackleton immediately secured a ship and initiated a series of rescue operations, navigating back through the treacherous bays to retrieve the rest of the crew. 2 brutal years after their ship first became trapped in the ice, the final headcount was taken. Every single one of the 22 men survived. Evaluating the legacy of the Endurance requires looking past the traditional goals of polar exploration. By every standard of his original mission, Shackleton failed. He lost his ship, abandoned his supplies, and never touched the continent he meant to cross. Yet the expedition remains a case study in successful failure. It demonstrates that the value of leadership is found entirely in the preservation of human life.
If you like this video, then subscribe and bell icon press.